to dig up whoever is there. There's a human body, a dead person there. The odds are, I think that it's my daughter, but it's somebody's.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this video, we're going to examine what's been called the first crime mystery of the social media age. The disappearance of 21-year-old nursing student Maura Murray. Maura disappeared in 2004 in New Hampshire. She had emailed her professors to say she was taking time off to deal with a death in her family. There was no death in her family. Did she willingly vanish? Or was there something more nefarious at play? Let's look into it. Maura Murray was born in 1982 in Hanson, Massachusetts. After graduating high school, she attended the United States Military Academy in West Point, where she studied chemical engineering. While there, she stole about $5 worth of makeup, resulting in an honor code violation, and so she transferred to the University of Massachusetts to study nursing. Maybe it was intentional, and she just really hated chemical engineering. That's not that unlikely. At the University of Massachusetts, she was a highly motivated achiever on the dean's list and was an excellent athlete on the track team. She also had plans to spend the summer in Oklahoma working in a hospital to be close to her boyfriend, Billy, whom she had met in West Point. 3 months before her disappearance, Maura admitted to using a stolen credit card to buy food from a number of restaurants. However, the charge was to be dismissed after 3 months' good behavior. You'll see this a few times. There's kind of like this dichotomy between the Maura people knew and the actions she performed. She was an interesting person. 4 days before she disappeared, she broke down after a phone call with her sister. Her sister revealed she was having issues with her husband. 2 days later, her father visited her at university, planning on helping her purchase a new car, as hers, it was nearly kaput. That night, she crashed her father's car after he had gone to sleep and she stayed out drinking, causing about $8,000 worth of damage. Insurance would cover it. After her father left for business, they spoke over the phone and she agreed to go over the insurance forms. This brings us to Monday, February 9th, the day of her disappearance. In the early hours of Monday, she used her computer to check for directions to Burlington and the Berkshires. Now, she did have a history of hiking with her father, so looking to go to the mountains, maybe for a few days away, it's not entirely out of the blue, but a number of other actions she performed were. She then contacted a condominium in New Hampshire to rent it, but they told her they needed much more time in advance to book her in. She then tried to book in another hotel in the area, but it seems she was unsuccessful. Also on Monday, Maura sent an email to her boyfriend, Billy. Maura's email said, "I love you more, stud, I got your messages. But honestly, I didn't feel like talking to much of anyone. I promised to call today though." The message was signed, "Love you, Maura." A police investigation later revealed that Maura also emailed teachers at the UMass Nursing School and her boss at a local art gallery to let them know she would be out of town for several days due to a death in her family. And there was certainly no death in Maura's family. She never told anyone she was going, she never told anyone where she was going. She just wanted to up sticks and leave. Why? We don't know. She was doing really good in school. She had a great relationship with her boyfriend. She was on the athletics team. No one knows why she just wanted to leave, but she did. One friend said there was something she wanted to get away and think about. Maybe she just wanted to get away. She was probably under a lot of pressure. There is also further evidence that suggested Maura planned to leave for at least a few days. Maura had packed all her belongings into boxes before she left, including her school textbooks, and even removing the art from her dorm room's walls. It looked like she was planning on leaving school entirely. Sometime around 3:30 p.m. on Monday, February 9th, Maura left her dorm room, got into her nearly broken down car, and set off for New Hampshire. At 3:40 p.m., she withdrew $280 from a nearby ATM, leaving her account almost empty. Maura was due to be paid soon from her 2 part-time jobs. Maura then stopped off at a local liquor store and bought about $40 worth of alcohol. At 4:37 p.m, Maura checked her voicemail for messages. This was the last recorded call on her cell phone. And then, at about 7 p.m. that evening, Maura crashed into a snowbank along Route 112. A nearby resident heard a thud, saw the crash, and phoned the sheriff's office. Another nearby resident saw someone walking around the vehicle. Eventually, a passing bus driver stopped at the scene. He saw a young woman alone in the car, whom he later identified as Maura Murray. She was shook up, but not injured, he reported to police. There was no blood, but she was cold and shivering. She asked him not to call the police, as she'd already contacted the AAA. The AAA, AAA, whatever you want to call them, they have no record of her phoning them. He offered to let her stay in his house, which was nearby, till help arrived, but she refused, preferring to stay in the car.
I just asked her how she was. She said she was shaken up. I couldn't see any blood on her face, and she was shaking like this. I says, okay, I'm gonna go call the police.
The police arrived on the scene just a few short minutes later, but in that less than 10 minutes span of time, Maura Murray vanished. No one was inside or outside the car. There were red wine stains in the vehicle, but the man who last spoke to her said she didn't seem intoxicated. Missing were Murray's debit card, credit cards, and cell phone, none of which have been located, and the cards were never used since her disappearance. The police later reported some of the bottles of purchased liquor were also missing. About half an hour later, another passerby saw a young person moving quickly on foot eastbound on Route 112, about 4 to 5 miles east of where Murray's vehicle was discovered. And that's the last we know of what happened to Maura. The following day, a missing persons report was issued. Her father and the police began searching the area on foot. Dogs were brought in, but quickly lost the scent.
They searched with dogs, by air, and on foot. They've checked everything from bus logs to snow tracks, and now, after 10 days, officials say they have suspended the ground search for 21-year-old Maura Murray.
What we wanted to do was make sure that we had done everything twice, and wanted to be able to come, for instance, and say to the family, we have searched this area extensively, and we have a very good feeling that we've done everything that we can do to assure that she's not in the vicinity of the crash site.
Officials even went a step further when asked if they thought Murray left the scene of her January 9th car accident on her own.
At this point, I have no reason not to believe that.
But those close to Maura and her family say even if she left on her own, she would have gotten word home.
And there's no way that she would ever put just the two most important people in her life that I'm aware of, her father and my son, through this nightmare. There's no way.
Officials plan to continue doing background checks on Maura with the help of the FBI to try to establish her frame of mind prior to disappearing. But at this point, there will be no further search of the area. As for Maura's family and friends, their search continues.
Maura, we love you. We're never going to give up hope. Don't you give up hope, because we're going to find you and we're going to bring you home safe.
Investigators say if they find any further evidence to support such action, they will go out and search that area again. But at this point, they feel they have done all they can. In Haverhill, Kofi Jones.
While on a flight to the area, her boyfriend Billy received a call. As his phone was turned off during the flight, he only received a voicemail. It was Maura, sobbing. The number was traced back to an AT&T calling card. Billy's mother said she had bought 2 of them for Maura the previous Thanksgiving. After an investigation, New Hampshire State Police traced the calling card to the American Red Cross and considered the calls to be unrelated and a closed case. The family doesn't believe that, as why would the Red Cross call Billy crying? Billy also had been having problems with his phone, where callers were sometimes sent to voicemail without realizing it, which could explain why a message was left and no one spoke. Press conferences were held. The family appeared on CNN. Helicopters searched with thermal imagery. They searched for 12 months, but Maura Murray just vanished into thin air. The investigation, however, by the police and others had never stopped. In 2007, $75,000 was offered for information into what happened to her. There were leads, of course, but they all ended in dead ends or were proven unrelated. In 2012, a YouTube user named 112dirtbag posted a video titled Happy Anniversary that some believe was linked. It features just this guy laughing manically. The link is that it was uploaded on the 8th anniversary of her disappearance. The 112 in his name was the route she disappeared on, and dirtbag is what her father called the people who may have done something to her. However, police and the family just dismissed this as a sick, cruel joke. In 2019, Fred Murray, her father, said he believed she was dead. However, there have been some developments which may prove promising. Fred Murray and supporters organised a search of a basement near the crash site last fall after getting the homeowner's permission. The previous owner of the house never answered the door to them. Fred said that 2 separate visits by cadaver dogs and a radar scan last fall identified something underneath the basement floor.
So what you're looking at is the dog's final response.
2 different cadaver dogs and radar technology pinged that exact spot in early December. Fred had gotten a tip on the place in 2004, but wasn't allowed inside until new owners moved in recently.
And I knew the place to look, but I couldn't get there.
New Hampshire officials say they're still investigating, but say that area was searched by law enforcement in the past, including with dogs, and nothing of significance was discovered.
No way in the hot place did they already look there. I don't believe it.
Maura's dad feels stuck, frustrated, rejected, and wants the police to do more.
To dig up whoever is there. There's a human body, a dead person there. The odds are, I think that it's my daughter, but it's somebody's.
There could be human remains under there. Only time will tell. Was Maura abducted by a local who was then killed by him and buried in the basement of a house that was just beside the crash site? We'll see. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more, please let me know and subscribe. See you real soon as always. Mike out.